The Indian constitution isn't just the longest in the world, it's one of the most visionary. It balances liberty with responsibility, federalism with unity, and tradition with modernity. Every feature in it, whether borrowed or homegrown, was chosen with deep intent. Let's explore the key features that make our constitution not just a document but the living foundation of the world's largest democracy. These are the major salient features of our constitution. Lengthiest written constitution, drawn from various sources, blend of rigidity and flexibility, federal system with unitary bias, parliamentary form of government, synthesis of parliamentary sovereignty and judicial supremacy, integrated and independent judiciary, and single citizenship. We will also see this features in depth as we ascend further in our syllabus, but right now we'll just see it in short. The first feature is the lengthiest written constitution. When India became independent, it wasn't just a building nation, it was uniting hundreds of princely states, diverse customs, and communities. That's why our constitution had to be detailed. With over 470 articles and 12 schedules. Today, it is the most comprehensive in the world, tailored for complexity, built for unity. So this is today's case. Second, it has a lot of borrowed features. So India didn't start from scratch. It chose the best from across the world, like the parliamentary system from the UK, fundamental rights from the US, DPSPs from Ireland, and more. But what we created was uniquely Indian. Third, there is a blend of rigidity and flexibility. A rigid constitution requires a special procedure for amendment, like the US Constitution. A flexible constitution can be amended by the ordinary lawmaking process, like the British Constitution. Indian Constitution is a synthesis of both. So some parts can be amended by a simple majority, while the others need a special majority, and some of them also require the ratification by half of the states. The 42nd Amendment expanded the parliamentary's power. The 44th pulled it back. So some provisions need a simple majority to change and others require state ratification. Fourth, we have a federal system with a unitary bias. We have a dual structure, center and states. But in times of crisis, the center steps in with overriding power. This federation with a strong center ensures both autonomy plus national integrity, especially in crucial times in a country as diverse as India. These are some of the federal features and these are the unitary features. We will deal with them in detail in the further as we ascend further in our syllabus. Then we have a parliamentary form of government. So India didn't choose a presidential setup, it chose a system where the executive is accountable to the legislature. Inspired by the UK, our parliamentary democracy thrives on collective responsibility. The Prime Minister's leadership and the Parliament's supremacy in law making. Further, we have a synthesis of parliamentary sovereignty and judicial supremacy. Like the British Parliament represents parliamentary sovereignty and the American Supreme Court reflects judicial supremacy. The Indian Constitution integrates both. The Parliament is powerful enough to make laws, but courts can strike down laws violating the Constitution through a judicial review. We have integrated and independent judiciary. In a democracy, the judiciary is the final guardian of the Constitution. India's courts can strike down laws, protect rights, and review executive action. So, independence is the key, and it's protected through fixed tenures and secure salaries and judicial review for the judiciary. Next, we have single citizenship. Unlike countries like the USA, where people are citizens of both the nation and the state, India gives only one citizenship. This builds a common identity. Which is India first above everything else. There are some other salient features of the constitution as well, like the fundamental rights, which guarantee civil liberties to citizens and which are enforceable by courts. Then we have the DPSPs. These DPSPs guide the state in policy making to ensure socio-economic justice. Then we have fundamental duties. These are the recommendations of the Swaran Singh committees, which give certain duties for our citizens. Now, India is a home to every major religion in the world and hundreds of smaller ones. So, secularism here doesn't mean absence of religion. It means equal respect for all. No state religion, no religious favoritism. Just peaceful coexistence under one constitution. Then we have the universal adult franchise. No matter your caste, class, gender or language, if you are 18, you have the right to vote. This is called as the universal adult franchise. In 1951, this was a radical for a country emerging from colonialism and feudalism, yet India trusted its people. Then we have emergency provisions. National crisis call for decisive action. So the constitution provides for three types of emergencies. One is the national emergency. Second is the state emergency, also called as the president's rule. And third is the financial emergency. So in such times, power centralized, but checks and balance remain to protect democracy from overreach. Then we have a three-tier government, which was enabled by the 73rd and 74th Amendment, which gave us the Panchayati Raj system and the municipalities for urban areas. We also have cooperative societies. The 97th Constitutional Amendment gave cooperative societies a constitutional status. So these are the major salient features of our constitution. Now here we came across this feature which says that our constitution was drawn from various sources. So let's go a little deep into that. Oh, here, sorry, I forgot to mention this. We also have independent constitutional bodies. To uphold our democratic values, Constitution establishes autonomous institutions like the Election Commission for free and fair elections. Then we have CAG, which is the Controller and Auditor General of India. UPSC, State PCS, we have the Finance Commission. All these have constitutional status. They are constitutional bodies. Okay, so let us look at the sources of the Constitution at a glance. The Constitution of India is often called a borrowed constitution. But what we borrowed, we adapted. What we adapted, we made our own. So let's decode the global inspirations that shaped the Indian Constitution. First and very foremost is the Government of India Act 1935. The backbone came from this act, including the federal structure, Office of Governor, Public Service Commissions, emergency provisions and administrative setup. Second, the British Constitution. From the British, we adopted parliamentary government, the rule of law, bicameralism, legislative procedures and the cabinet system. Even the concept of single citizenship and parliamentary privileges came from the UK. Then the US Constitution. From the US, we took the idea of fundamental rights, a written constitution, judicial independence, judicial review and the process of impeachment and removal of top officials. The office of the Vice President is also inspired by the American model. Let's talk about the Irish Constitution. The Irish Constitution gave us DPSPs, Directives, Principles of State Policy, the nomination of members to Rajya Sabha and the method of electing our president. Then Canadian Constitution. From Canada, we inherited a federal system with a strong center, residuary powers with the Union, and the appointment of governors by the center. From the Australian Constitution, we got our concurrent list, freedom of trade and commerce, and joint sitting of the parliament. From the Weimar Constitution of Germany, we got the concept of suspending fundamental rights during emergencies. From the USSR, we borrowed the ideals of social, economic, and political justice, and later the concept of fundamental duties. From the French Constitution came the values of liberty, equality, and fraternity, which shine through our preamble. From the South African Constitution, we borrowed the procedure for constitutional amendment and the election process for Rajya Sabha members. From the Japanese, we adopted the concept of procedure established by law instead of the US version, due process of law. Now, we will learn more about these concepts like I just mentioned, procedure established by law and due process of law, and what exactly our constitution stands for. Okay, so that is the further thing. For now, what is important is salient features of the Indian Constitution plus borrowed features of the Indian Constitution. Okay, make note of this and thank you.